When someone you're close to has lost a loved one, it's only natural to want to reach out and help that person. But sometimes we don't know the right thing to say or to do, and it can make us feel uncomfortable. In today's video, I'm going to give you tips to help you comfort someone who's grieving. Hello friends, I'm Wendy Rapp, spiritual life coach and intuitive reader. On this channel, I help you as a spiritually awakened person grow and evolve on your soul's journey. The first thing you need to do is let go of your own discomfort. This is not about you. Let go of your fears of saying or doing the wrong thing. Just reach out to them and start by expressing your sympathy. Let the person know you're there to listen. You don't need to have answers or advice for them. Just listen. You're not there to take away their pain. It is a process. But being there for that person, just being there for them, is often very healing for them. And let them lead the conversation. If they don't want to talk about what has happened, then respect that. Most of the time, people love to talk about their loved one who has passed. So allow them to talk about whatever stories they wish to tell you. If they begin to cry, it's okay. Don't shut them down. Let them cry. It's part of the release process for them. It helps them to heal. Another thing that grieving people will often do is retell the events leading up to the person's passing and the events itself that unfolded for that person's passing. Again, it might feel uncomfortable for you, but they need to process this. This is part of how they're processing the loss that they're feeling. So allow them the space to be able to have this conversation. And a really good way to help a person who's grieving is to share stories. If you knew the person who passed, share stories that they would find comforting. Funny stories, or just something that perhaps this person used to do for you, some kindness they did, or perhaps of some silly little quirk. Stories like that help to keep this person who has passed alive in the memory of the person who's here grieving. And it also helps the person who's grieving feel comforted that they realize others love this person as well. And don't make the situation about you. This is not the time for you to start talking about the losses that you've had in your life. This is a time for you to be there for the person who has just experienced the loss. It's not about you. And it's really important to understand that everyone grieves differently. Some people may be angry, some people may have a lot of guilt, some people profound sadness. For others, it may be more of a roller coaster of emotions, up one day and down the next. And oftentimes people, when they're going through guilt, will say or do things out of character for them. It's really important for you, as someone who is close to the grieving person, to not take it personally. Grief does this to people. It's not something to take personally. Send that person healing, send them love, but don't take anything they say that might feel hurtful to you personally during that time. And there are a few things you want to avoid doing during this time. The first is, don't assume you know what they're feeling. Even if this person lost someone that you've lost in your life, like a parent or a spouse, we all experience grief and the loss differently. So don't ever assume you understand exactly what they're going through. Also, don't criticize them or judge them for the way that they are handling their grief. Again, it's an individual process. Everyone goes through it differently. And the last thing is, don't set time limits on a person. Don't tell them it's time to move on or they need to let go of it already. On average, it takes about 18 to 24 months to really work through our grief. But for some people, it will be longer. It's, again, an individual process, and no one has the right to set time limits, so don't do that. You also want to avoid saying things like, it was God's plan. He's in a better place. Look what you have to be thankful for in your life. Or isn't it time you moved on? Those sorts of comments are not helpful. And a final really important tip is to remember to continue to be there and support this friend well beyond the funeral. They continue to grieve well after the occasion has passed, and oftentimes that's the most difficult time for them to go through. So be there for them, support them, offer help, and during that time, a really good thing to do, because grief is a very heavy energy, people feel very tired, sluggish, it's hard for them to think, they kind of have brain fog as they're trying to move forward through it. So ask them, is there anything I can do for you? Do you want me to come over and watch the kids for a while? Do you need some help with your cooking, cleaning, any errands you need me to do? Sometimes even the follow-up phone calls, thank you cards perhaps that are going to be sent out after the funeral, or any emails or phone calls that this person may need done in their behalf, perhaps you could offer to do those for them. Even if the person declines your offer, trust me, they will feel comforted knowing you care enough to ask. I hope those tips were helpful for you. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I upload a new video every Sunday, and I would love to have you join me here. If there's any area of concern you have that you'd like me to address here, please leave it in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to follow me on social media, the links are below in the description box. And as always, remember, you are a spark of the divine. Share your light with the world. Blessings.